final nail in the Democratic coffin that I plan on putting on. Education. Please explain to me how we as Republicans are allowing Democrats to monopolize the education issue in the inner cities. They have destroyed the black family and destroyed the inner city. And the fact that we play patty cake with them, frankly, is disgusting. We need to attack, a full frontal attack on the inner cities. We need to knock on doors. We need to go into churches. We need to speak to every single group that'll have us. Friendly, not friendly, I don't care. Throw rocks at us, I don't care. But I'm going to get in front of that room, and I promise you, God is my judge, and I mean that. I will get in front of that room and say, sir, why does your kid have to go to this hole they call a school? Why mine not only gets a choice of a wonderful private school, but 3 or 4 wonderful public schools in the same. Why? Ben Cardin and the Democrats believe that. He voted it down. And I don't want to indict him personally. I'm running out of an idea right now. We'll get to Ben later. We got enough time for him. But he voted down DC charter schools and federal funding for vouchers. Why? It's good enough for your kids. I get it. You have the money. But no, you have to go where I tell you you have to go. Yeah, but my kids aren't learning anything, sir. No, you go there. Shut your mouth. We know better. No, you don't know better. I want to leave you with a pretty staggering statistic that everybody should leave this room and say, this is a travesty in the richest country on earth. 20,000 of the nation's public schools, that's what we have. 2,000 of them are responsible for 50% of the dropouts. That's not the tough part. The tough part of this is 50% of our nation's black population goes to one of those schools. So if you're a black family in this country, the heroes up on the hill, these Democrats, whose intentions may have been noble, but results have been to destroy everything they stood for. Everything. You have a 50% chance of going to one of these schools. You're lucky to get out of there and even graduate. We don't even have that. That's a graduate. I mean, with our kids, that's not even an option to graduate high school. I'm worried about if my kid's going to graduate medical school, not graduate grammar school or high school. There's a 50% chance I'll wind up in one of those schools. That is absolutely staggering in the richest country on earth. How did that happen? They did this, folks, and we let them do it. We let them sell these nonsense policies because we sit back and play this civility card. Well, enough civility. I respect these individuals as people, and I will never give a personal, I will never say anything bad about Ben Cardin personally. Actually, he's a very nice guy. But nice doesn't win anymore. Yep. Intentions don't matter. What are the results? What did you do? Stop telling me what you wanted to do. Tell me what you did. Tell me what you did. You destroyed this place. You laid waste to that inner city. Amen. You know, New York City, where I lived when I was a kid, in New York. New York City was the breadbasket of that entire state. Billions of dollars flowed into that. Billions of dollars. What is Baltimore? How did this happen? Well, think about it. What's any different about Baltimore? It's got a harbor, like New York does. It's got a skyline. It's a beautiful place to drive through. It really is. What happened? They did this. They destroyed that place. And we're going to stop it. But we got to fight, and that's how we're going to win this. We're going to fight. We're going to fight everywhere. My campaign is not forfeiting one vote. If I lose, I'm going to lose knocking on every door I can. And let the Baltimore Sun and every other paper report on how stupid we are fighting in Baltimore City. We'll play chess. You guys keep playing checkers. Because I'm not giving up one vote. I'll go there pre-primary. We're working on it right now. Let them report on how stupid we are. Again, folks, my name is Dan Bongino. I'd like to take some Q&A. I support unions, but I don't support having to join a union. If unions are so great, let them compete like everyone else. It's amazing how unions say, oh, we can't have monopolies. But then they monopolize and say, no, you have to join. Not only in Maryland, you have to join, you don't have to be in, you have to pay a fee now, even when you're not in the union. I have no problem with unions. Let them compete like everyone else. Don't you think it would keep the union sharp? I mean, wouldn't you want to join a union if they were doing great things? If you were working there and the union was really producing, doing fantastic things, negotiating on your behalf, everybody would want to join. Why do you have to join? You have to join because no one would join if they did, because they failed. They failed, folks. They bankrupted the state. And if people say, oh, you can't say that in Maryland, it's all federal employees. No, no, that's bogus. They aren't federal employees. I was a federal employee. They're parents who work for the federal government. Don't give me that nonsense. They're federal employees. They're going to be living in a bankrupt state with bankrupt kids. You think they care? They care about their kids first. I'll fight that issue, and I'll lose honestly on that. So you're right, sir. The power of the monopolies of the union has to be broken. We have to at some point become a right to work state. We have to. It's such a simple idea when you think about it.
And let me throw a hypothetical idea.
Yes.
If you were, I know you're running for Senate, if you were in the House of Representatives right now and you're being called in by Boehner tonight, what course of action would you recommend the House Republicans take tonight?
Good question. I would not vote for the Boehner plan. I signed the We have to take a stand right now. Let the Democrats, let's fail honorably if we do it. If the Democrats want to monopolize the message that big spending is the way to go, let them do it. Let them do it, and we will go down, but we will go down honorably. And you know what? Over time, it will create a distinction. It'll create a distinction over time where people say, you know, the Republicans stand for something. We may lose the battle, but we'll win the war. Why do we keep losing? I hate the term rhino, but you know what, folks, let's be honest. That's when we lose, because there's no distinction.
That's right.
Oh, he spends a little less. He taxes, yeah, but it's a fee for him. No, but it's a toll for him. Folks, if it come out of your pocket, then it's government money, it's not yours. End of story. Create the distinction and we will win. Look at Maryland. Who's won Maryland? Ronald Reagan. By 5 points. 5 points, folks.
Right.
Look it up. 5 points.
He was moderate.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. Total moderate, yeah. Reagan. I mean, classic conservative. George H.W. Bush 1 year. Ellen Soubry 1 year. I think. Ellen Soubry nearly 1 year. I said 3,000 bucks. Big fan. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Bob Ehrlich 1 year. Why did Bob Ehrlich lose the second time? And I'm not bashing Bob Ehrlich's done great things for this state. I'm not up here to say anybody. I don't knock on the Republicans, but really, let's hotwash it. Why did he lose? What was the campaign message by Martin O'Malley? I'm a pro-choicer. Anyone remember that campaign ad? A fee's a tax. He ran as a conservative, folks, and and everybody said, "Oh man, we can't win in Maryland." No, 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 no. We will win in Maryland. Andy Harris destroyed.
All right.
To answer your question, I signed cut, cap, and balance. I'm not a big fan of pledges, I'll be honest with you. If you believe in something passionately and you get in front of the voters and are willing to say it, a pledge is just an empty piece of paper. I need to convince you that what I'm telling you is real. I get cameras here. I love when OP films. It keeps everybody on. Right? Really, I mean it. Put it on YouTube that I said it. I need your support. But I signed that pledge because that's a pledge I truly, genuinely, passionately believe in, and the pledge got us some good publicity off it. And I really wanted everyone to know that no, I support nothing unless there's a cut, significant cuts, real cuts, now cuts, not 10-year cuts, now cuts, a cap on spending, and a balanced budget. We can, they said, oh, you go to Congress and we can control ourselves and we don't need a balance. Really? What evidence is there? I was a criminal investigator. What kind of case are you putting on you? It's a total failure. You'll get 18% of GDP in taxes no matter what you do, and I think folks in this room know it. It doesn't matter what the marginal rates are, folks. 70%, 90%, 28%, 35% makes no difference. You're going to get 18% of GDP every time. That's why the caps are at 18 and 20%, depending on what version you look at. So it doesn't matter. You tax it 70% of people just move their money offshore. Simple as that. It's called basics. I didn't spend 2 years in graduate school learning behavioral learning. I never, ever saw a thirsty rat press a dipper lever for another thirsty rat. They won't do it. They won't do it. No one works for someone else. If you're marginally taxed at a rate of 71%, which is nearly confiscatory, which were some of the early 1980s rates, what do? You just stop working. I'm not working for this guy. You're not doing it.
Yep.
We're the most charitable, benevolent country on earth, but we're not stupid.
That's right.
Nobody's working for someone else. It's not going to happen. Really, it doesn't take any graduate degree in psychology. The military is different. And the military is a legitimate function of government. Now granted, again, it is a third-party payer model. I think can be done a lot more efficiently. In other words, we can outsource that and let the actual military person who's retired or in the military pick it themselves. And what do we have then? Crazy idea again, competition. But military healthcare is different. That's a system where you're going to need at some point some form of third-party payer because there are military. So military's, I always put the military on a pedestal, and I think anything we can do to make their lives that much easier. You know, we're in a VFW. My grandfather fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He was my hero. Never spoke about it, not once. You know, never talked about it. I remember when Saving Private Ryan came out, we all wanted him to tell us a story. And quietest guy I ever met. Owned a fish store in Harlem his whole life. When he died, it was one of the saddest days of my life. You know what his last words to me were? He said, I don't want you to see me like this. St. John's Hospital in New York. And he said, you need to go. And that was it. So, you know, those folks, that's when war was war. I mean, war's no cakewalk now, folks, but they didn't have Gore-Tex, and I mean, that was war. And those guys, they built this country. Those guys and those women who served in the military, they built that country. You know, their callous, bleeding hands built. They didn't have the robotics moving things around. You know, that generation, when they say the greatest generation, you know, they mean it. And he affected me people. He was a great guy. I'm sorry. Just, I have a soft spot for the military. I'd always wished I'd been in it. It's my one great regret.